What is radical empathy? Well, to understand what radical empathy is, we first need to understand what empathy is. If you look up Brene Brown empathy on YouTube, you will find a beautiful explanation of empathy versus sympathy. In that video, Brene Brown talks about four main qualities of empathy. The first quality is perspective taking. This is where you're able to simply take on somebody else's perspective. The second part of empathy is staying out of judgment. This simply means holding space for that person's perspective exactly as it is. The third and fourth parts of empathy are recognizing the emotion in the perspective and then communicating what you recognized. It is one of life's blessed experiences to interact with somebody who embodies this kind of empathy. Whether it's fortunate or not so fortunate, that kind of experience is rare. So what are we supposed to do? Just wait and hope that somebody else is going to come in and have empathy for us to help us heal? Radical empathy, therefore, is empathy from the self for the self. But why is empathy such a big deal anyway? Well, empathy is a process by which things that are separated and wounded get brought back together. True empathy is an embodied experience that is beyond the intellect. Now, there's nothing wrong with the mind or the intellect. They simply aren't equipped to deal with empathetic matters. The mind and the intellect do not bring things back together. The intellect is a beautiful thing, but it functions more like a knife. To use the intellect to know more is to take big topics and to cut them up, to break them down into more understandable pieces. Again, there's nothing wrong with this, it's just not very useful for empathy. So if the intellect is useful for dividing things, it's important to remember that a wound is evidence that something has already been divided.